We play the waiting game. We play the waiting game. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, wow, this is actually taking quite a lot of time. Okay, anyway, thank you for the... Oh my god, thank you for the bits, Beef. Thank you for the bits. Welcome in, guys. Hold on a second. We need some...
Okay.
There we go. It's broken? No, it's not broken. I can't do it. Someone stole it. Wait, what do you mean someone stole it? Oh, Jay redeemed it during the pre-roll. Oh. Oh, I missed it. Oh, bamboozled. Bamboozled. Ripped and rigged. Anyway. Brutal start to a Monday? Listen, it's fine. It's totally fine. I'm sure it's fantastic. But how did everybody's weekend go? Did y'all have a good time? Did you get into any trouble? Did you burn anything down? Did you have anything delicious? I like knowing about delicious foods people ate. Black and gloomy, but hot like the tears of mortification? Want any cream with that? Oh, I see. I see. Do you have oat milk? Do you have oat milk? Squats? Squats? We gotta do squats already? Ladies, squats. But I got all the landmines. Where did you get landmines? We don't have an armory. The fuck is wrong with you? Is that a land? Oh, that is a landmine. Why are you throwing landmines like it's a grenade? There's probably better things that you could be throwing like a grenade. Especially considering, doesn't a landmine have directional? What was it? Directional fucking, explosions? The whole carnival's an armory? I mean, that's technically true. But that doesn't mean we have landmines. It's not like we're juggling landmines. We juggle heads. Get it right. We watched Cars 1 last night. It's a lot more adult than I remember. Every Disney movie prior to like this weirdest shit live action arc is a lot more adult than you think it is. Go back and watch Aladdin and tell me if Robin Williams actually absolutely was not taking the piss the entire time. There's an Armstrong coming between somewhere in 27 minutes. Oh. What is it? The missile silo in the back? You're not supposed to talk about it. You're not supposed to talk about it. Claymore's directional landmine to all concerned in the area. I think you're thinking of artillery. I'm pretty sure landmine's explosion is up. Isn't it? Isn't it almost always up? It's generally directional. Claymore cannon win. That would not get very far. That'd be like deciding to use a fucking shotgun. Does the carnival sign the Geneva Convention? No. We're not recognized as a country, so we don't have to sign into any of that. Do you have a Marin sub? That's the question. You're not supposed to know about that one either. Don't worry about it. Just look at the pretty pirate ship in the aquatic section. Throw claymores at people. That's gambling with your life. If you chuck a fucking claymore, you're just as much risking it blowing in some other direction than the person you're throwing it at. The one in the image is just 4 to 6 kilos of high explosives in a metal/plastic casing. I don't know about that. That looks very much like a landmine with even a button in the middle. I see that button. You can't sneak that one past me. Frisbee the landmine, it'll be fine. Yeah, but then the directional force is going up, and or worse, is not even going to be detonated. Somebody just catches it from the side. Sometimes you just gotta gamble your blow directions. True Gamba. True Gamba is throwing a claymore. And is this a new game type of roulette? Is that what this is? Is this American roulette? Is throwing a claymore and seeing who gets blown away? Yeah, the landmine hurts. Oh my god, can you imagine spin the bottle, but it's a claymore? Oh. Oh. Oh no. You're both wrong. It's a fire landmine. Is incendiary landmines a thing? I don't think they are. I'm pretty sure most landmines are explosive. I'm like almost front towards smooch. Oh no, not the smooch. Oh, good lord. Good lord, good lord, good lord. But I don't have much topics to talk about today. I don't remember what happened over the weekend. Who am I? Where are we? Who are you people? Wait. Oh, okay. Incendiary landmines seem like it's part of the Geneva checklist? Is it? Hold on, I'm gonna look this up. Incendiary landmine. XM54 mine. Experimental United States incendiary landmine tested during the Vietnam War. Of course it fucking was. It was a large bounding mine that would either be command detonated or tripwire activated. Contained 15 pounds of plasticized white phosphorus. Approximately 200 were shipped to Vietnam on August 1968, and some were used operationally. Oh. Oh. That's heinous. That actually does feel like a war crime. That, Hi, Fandubs. How are you doing? Deep Fandubs. Ooh, cool name. It's not against the Geneva Convention to send all the sneaky VTubers with their post 16-hour session gamer stink to stink out the enemy, probably? I don't think that technically counts as chemical warfare. It probably should, but I don't think it does. I'm pretty sure. Wait. Who's Greg Sipes? Greg Sipes. Beast Boy? The guy that plays Beast Boy? Are you serious? He's also in Fast and Furious. He's claiming that Warner Brothers fired him after he got a Parkinson's diagnosis. Yeah, he's Beast Boy in all of the recent decades. Oh, he's also Kevin Levin. Oh shit, in Ben 10. Jesus. I don't know the full details. That's just one of the things that came up. I was like, okay, Warner Brothers firing somebody, and there's this firing over Parkinson's? You're really gonna fire the man that was Beast Boy for 20 years? 20 years because he was diagnosed with Parkinson's? Parkinson's is one of the earliest diseases that you can basically how long has what's his name? Something Fox? Hold on, was it? Where's it? Michael J. Fox. Michael J. Fox is fucking. The world has known Michael J. Fox has had Parkinson's for what? 20 plus years? Apparently, Muhammad Ali had Parkinson's. I did not know that. Did not know that at all. So did Ozzy. Ozzy had fucking Parkinson's. You can go over 20 years before you even reach the fatal stage of Parkinson's. Or the what is it? The basically let's say essentially disabled stage of Parkinson's. Yeah, you'll be shaky for probably a couple decades and it'll start getting worse at some point. But it's also been I don't think Parkinson's is curable, but I'm pretty sure it's generally treatable already. I'm gonna continue the 2000s Titans show, so are they recasting him or didn't know about Ozzy? Imagine not firing Ezra Miller for being a psycho and firing Beast Boy for having an illness that doesn't show up when you're voice acting. Also true. Rad Galaxy, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. How are you doing? What trouble are you getting into? What shenanigans are you up to? But let me see real quick. What is trending in this fine day? I don't see anything. Oh, I don't think I want to talk about that. Oh, I don't think I want to talk about that. Oh, right, the Hyundai plant in Georgia. Fucking insanity. Fucking insanity. For almost 35 years, diagnosed in 1991. Jesus. Not much today, sitting on my chemotherapy treatment, following small VTubers like you. Oh, well, I hope it's getting better. I hope you're all right. Hell yeah, you got this. You got this. Do we want to discuss your current home state playing stupid with birth control pills? Oh God, I think I remember. Were they? Oh, what was it? Were they? They were banning them completely, weren't they? Ooh, I don't know too much about how bad they are, but I'm sure you got this. If you're going through treatment, then it's. I mean, there's at least penalizing out-of-state orders. Oh, that's right. That's what it was. They were gonna start fucking. It's not blocking. They were gonna start fining. Is that what it was? They were gonna start penalizing like insurance companies that paid for those things if people in Texas left Texas to go get those things. Allowing to sue over it. The thing was too is I don't think it was the government allowed to sue over it. It was American people or like Texans allowed to sue over it, wasn't it? Texans could sue other Texans over it. Transportation companies as well. Ugh. Was apoplectic over it. He sent it to me. Actually, I think he did send it to me. If I remember correctly. He sent it to me literally, I think while he was talking about it, because I think I remember seeing him live. Yeah, here it is. Texas bill. Residents to sue mail order abortion pill providers. How much you want to bet some shithead somewhere is going to be like, I wonder if they're going to let me order this. And they're going to order it themselves and then sue the company that did it. A new law in Texas will allow ordinary people to sue out-of-state providers who supply abortion pills to residents in the state. JP U.S. Army, welcome in. What are we doing today? We're going to do the crime scene cleaner in a little bit. Insurance company and pharmacy, if you know someone who received them, even if you have no... Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And the thing is tech... Ow, I just fucking elbowed the corner of the desk. Ow, Jesus. Landmines from Project Blue Peacock, the 1950s were wild. The what? Yes, the normal people not even having anything to do with it and sue out-of-state companies. The thing is this isn't the first law like this that Texas has tried to pass. They tried to do the same thing. I'm trying to remember what it was over, but it was like 3 or 4 years ago. I want to say it was over abortion themselves. Like if somebody was like going to a clinic and essentially getting like any sort of like contraceptive or anything, they made a law that any ordinary person could sue that clinic. And I think they could also sue the person that like got the service. So like if somebody went to say Planned Parenthood and got an abortion there, this random person that knew they did it and like had their name and stuff could file a suit against the person that got the what was it? The person that got the abortion, the clinic itself, in this case, Planned Parenthood, and the insurance company, if the insurance company paid for it. Apoplectic really is not a common word. I don't even remember. I've heard it, but I don't know the exact meaning over. Hold on. We're learning today. Okay, yeah. Extremely indignant. Yep. Example Kono gave was, I'm going to sue the company who sent my wife abortion pills after I watched her bull get her pregnant from my cuck chip. Fucking insanity. To stay out of their lives and pull this shit. It's fucking hypocrisy is what it is. They want small government when it's not their government. And that's the only thing it's ever been. All right, we're going to talk about the thing that I said I didn't want to talk about. While I was at the gym today, I like stopped my workout because I glanced up at Fox News to try and see what was going on. And it was Trump making a statement. Essentially, the statement during this speech was that all Americans should be religious. To be unreligious of any kind is against being American. Welcome to 1954, kids. Welcome to 1954. That was your first mistake. The thing is, the only news channels that they have on at my gym is CNN and Fox News, and they were right next to each other. And I was just finished doing leg abductors or thigh abductors. And I stood up and I looked over, I leaned over one of the counter things that was separating a section, and I squinted at it and I was like, wait, does that say what I think it says? And I walked around and stood at an elliptical and just kind of stared at the TV and was like, oh no. Oh no. Rich coming. Yeah, correct. Now, see, that's what your first mistake was. Listen, those are the two news channels on, and I don't go searching all the time for news unless I'm sitting here doing this, because I like to know what's going on. I'd rather not remain ignorant of global politics. The news these last 10 days says the man that didn't even put his hand on the Bible when he sworn in, and then tried to sell his own Bible, his own Bibble, the Trump Bibble, the Triple Bibble, reining in my apoplexy over certain religious groups' behaviors in the U.S. lately. I don't think you should. I don't think you should, Daedric. I think you should be unhinged. Which then turned into Kono bragging about being asked at least 3 couples to be their bull. Yeah, that sounds like Kono. Also, thank you for the 65 stream streak. Holy shit. All right, I need to do this 20 squats that somebody redeemed. I give him negative $10,000 for Trump's Bible. You'll have to pay me to take that Bible. Oh, goodness. Or get out. Yes, that is basically what it boiled down to. You could tell from the way that he was talking, this was not about to be him oh yeah, every person has to be religious. Zoroastrianism and Islam is totally fine, guys. It's totally fine. No. He wants Catholicism. And not just any Catholicism. He wants warmongering Catholicism because his Secretary of War now, congratulations, welcome to the Department of War, by the way, vehemently posted on the State Department's Twitter page that they were going to use the U.S. Department of War to fund and angle Catholic warfare upon the world and fight against Christianity's enemies. Neo-Anglican at most? Sure. Are threatening store owners to ban pork and beer for being unclean? Is it one of those things that's serious, or is it one of those counter protest things where they're trying to show the ridiculousness of demanding things from people that don't matter? Is that really happening? Let me see. Texas. That's from April. Wait, I didn't know this. Texas Muslim groups looking to build homes and a mosque for themselves. Barred by Governor Greg Abbott. What a fucking bitch, baby. The East Plano Islamic Center, aka EPIC, is a large mosque in Plano in southern North Dallas. It's running out of room and wishes to expand. Okay. Yeah, let him. Go ahead. So Trump wants to play Crusader now? I guess High Mystic. I can only imagine it has something to do with his weird recent craze of, quote, wanting to get into heaven. That man is burning. That man is trying to do things that puts him in good graces, and I think anybody can tell him anything will get him into heaven, and he'll do it. Let me see. Oh, here it is. Wait, this is Instagram. Hold on a second. Wants to ban pork and beer. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Reddit. Threads? What is Threads? 2 businesses. Alcohol, gambling, or pork? Okay, he is apparently like trying to force like I guess all businesses. Again, that's kind of ridiculous. Granted, I can understand gambling. I can understand wanting to ban gambling. Technically, it is illegal to gamble in Texas. Texas doesn't allow gambling under a lot of loopholes. We're not counting like the lottery and stuff. He so badly wants a Nobel Prize. Threads is part of Instagram? Okay, okay. I thought it was Reels. I thought it was Instagram Reels. He's actually doing anything to help get himself in heaven. He just wants to just seem religious. True. Calling for an Islamic State or else? Wait, what? Huh? What are you talking about right now? No one thinks about Instagram. It's fine. Listen, I don't think about Instagram unless I have to. And I regret to this day that I had to make one so that we could watch those conspiracy things. Insanity. I need to ask Makari where she got that button emotes. I forgot I have an Instagram account. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But it also does seem like a really small group. Like, there's like 3 guys and looks like 3 or 4 women. And that's about as big as the group is. But yeah, I do not agree with banning those things. Again, it's one of those things that's just like, don't eat it, don't buy it. Welcome. Wait, is that what's playing? Oh, it is. It's a 2013 remaster. Nice. NRA actually kind of backed over the DOJ, planning on taking guns away. Yeah, I did see that. I did see that. Listen, to be fair, I may hate the NRA, but I gotta respect them in this case on standing on business. Like they didn't back down just because they probably like disagree with like certain parts of it. Also, hold on. Before I forget, I'm actually gonna message Makari about that emotes. Oh, Tommy looks like he has the same one too. Oh, interesting. Wait, people hate this song? I don't understand why people hate this song. This song's fantastic. Now work on the model. Oh, I didn't see it. That's my bad. I just didn't see it. It's not rigged up to do it automatically. I probably could set it up to do it automatically. Oh yeah, I know a bunch of them have, which probably means that there's somebody on like VGen or something that has like a template for it. And people are getting it done by them. Because Orca, Tommy, and Makari have one. All right, let me do these squats. Hi, Ording. All right. Why it refunds itself? From how? Wait, what do you mean it refunds itself? That doesn't make any sense. Oh no, not emotes, points. That's Chibi. That's the old Chibi one. Eyes main. Okay. Why does it... I've told you lots of times, that still doesn't make any sense. There's nothing that should fucking automatically fucking return it. That doesn't make any sense why it refunds it. Let me see. Do I have it still? No, it wouldn't be under commands. It would be Twitch channel points. Eyes. It'll refund. The thing is it's not... Thing is, there's no command for it. There's not a single command. There's no redeem for it. It was just something that I'm pretty sure I always clicked. Thank you for self-care. I still have some gamer subs left from the gym. All right, hold on. I'll allow that. There you go. Yeah, there was it the old program? Because it is not in Mix It Up. Whatever used for the main model? Oh, I think I know what it is. I think I know what it is. Where is it? Was it... Didn't they have like built-in redeems or something? Oh God, where was it? I don't even remember how some of this shit works. Maybe that's what it is? Here, let me try something. How did the... There used to be a way... Skip the keyword instead of what you're doing now. No, it's... There used to be a way that you could activate redeems. Hotkeys, expressions. There it is, iClump. Click that. Can I? No, active trigger. Not Twitch sub trigger. Shout out, ad break, trigger. Raid trigger, no. What was the fucking... Text. Why can't I... There's no like point redeem or anything. Bit redeem, gift sub. Twitch redeem trigger. Select Twitch redeem. Eyes, where are you? Select. And then do this. Seconds. 5 seconds would be 300 seconds. Okay. I am stressed. Now let's see if this thing's actually gonna fucking work. So, do that. Let me turn him off. Oh, where is it? Yoink. Test. Okay. And then it's gonna be on cooldown for the next 5 minutes, and then it'll turn off after that. Nice. Nice. Anyway. What are you doing actually? Remaking the redeem. Remaking the redeem. That's a lot of bobs. That's a lot of bobs. Checking in, you're doing great, boss. Hi, Queens. Am I? Am I? No, 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 no. Yeah, it's whatever you, I think it was because it was VTS for the main for 1.0's main model is what I'm thinking was set up for. And I think VTS automatically knows when it like bounces back, so it just automatically refunds it. Is that a tube of caulk? Why does Anna have a tube of caulk emote? Caulk is arguably one of the worst things that's ever happened to modern building. Because instead of making buildings that's just like essentially waterproof and doesn't erode from water, we're just like, just fill in the cracks with caulk. It'll be fine. And you have to replace that shit every like 5 years. That's been my guess the whole time. Yep. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I fixed it though. Aren't you proud of me? I fixed it. Yay. Yay. Be proud of me. Wait, why did it already turn off? There's no way it's been 5 minutes.
Making the mother of all omelets here, Jack. Cast bread over every egg.
I stopped the test. I think that's what it was. All right, so we'll test it again in a little bit. Could never test it when points are higher people only? Huh? Building full of sticky dense substance? What? Devs. Hey, oh my god, the fucking Armstrong. All right, hold on. Let me do these squats. I've been sitting here on my knees. All right, let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Goddamn, Pippin. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Hi, Hippo. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Is that a mother? That better not be a fucking meat spin emote. Okay, that's an inflatable duck. All right. Una thinks funny colors on screen are pretty cool. Aw, how old is he? He is wee little baby. See, little baby. I know babies like bright colors. All right, hold on. I got to do the 10 sit-ups real quick, so I'll be back in a second. Whoop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Okie dokie. Duck spin? No. Meat what? Do you not know meat spin? Were you nowhere near the internet in the year of our Lord 2007? I almost said 2007. 2007? Oh my goodness. All right. Let me see real quick. Let me get back to my Oprah. Oh, good Lord. Texas has a near total ban on abortions. Opponents of the new law say it'll be used to intimidate abortion providers outside the state. Nearly 2/3 of the abortions in the U.S. are via medications, a 2-pill regimen using mifepristone and misoprostol, administered within the first 12 weeks of pregnancy. Okay. Providers who are sued would be forced to pay the pregnant woman, the man who impregnated her, or other relatives the 100th. What? Providers who were sued would be forced to pay the pregnant woman, the man who impregnated her, or other relatives the $100,000 in damages. The women who take the medication to end the pregnancy could not be sued? What? If the lawsuit is brought by a person who is not part of the family, they could only receive $10,000. The remaining $90,000 would go to charity, the bill says. That doesn't make any sense. Because that just makes it sound like you're going to end up with like shitty mother-in-laws or something that are like, she killed my grandbaby or some crazy shit and tries to sue her. That's insane. That's fucking ridiculous. That's just going to enable psychos. That's all that's going to do. Blair Wallace of the American Civil Liberties Union, aka the ACLU of Texas, said the bill motivates, quote, neighbors to police one another's reproductive lives, further isolating pregnant Texans and punishing the people who care for them. So wait, no, not to go to it, Texas. Handful of U.S. states led by Democrats to prescribe and mail abortion pills to patients elsewhere in the U.S. under what are called shield laws. That gives the providers legal protection from out-of-state prosecution. Texas legislation specifically says that shield laws cannot be used as a defense in the lawsuit filed under it. You can't use the laws to protect yourself because we said so. Because we said so. Also, Tings with Rings, thank you for the follow. Wait. What is that name? Tings with Wings? Oh no, this says Rigs. Tings with Rigs. I don't know what that means. Feels like it means something, but I don't know what it is. I have several questions. To make providers too afraid to provide that service, paying off the mother-in-law is just a side effect. I mean, the thing is, they're basically putting that up to like, oh, what's the word? Force them? Not quite force them. It's more like an incentive to have like the overly zealous type pull something for them so that they can have these cases and just attempt to win them. Is usually the goal of these kinds of laws. It's to essentially get somebody to flex these laws so that they can challenge them later and then hopefully challenge them all the way up to the Supreme Court to eventually get them overturned. That's usually their goal. To report abortions in Texas. I'm pretty sure it still exists. Although, actually, well, I remember hearing that it got like flooded. People flooded it with like fake reports for shits and giggles. Which one? Good. So I don't know if it still exists. I don't know if they just like shut it down and started ignoring it. Or if they've like tucked it away somewhere where it's like now like much more hidden. I do not know. I could not tell you. All right. Let me put this away. I love malicious compliance. I like malicious compliance too. It's always funny when they do shit like this too. Where they essentially like, they're like, we're gonna take trusty citizens to report this for us, because they'll release a law that's like completely ungovernable. Like there's no way to enforce it when it relies entirely upon just random witnesses like submitting things. Especially when it's like unhinged bullshit in this case. So it is very funny that people were just like, fill their inboxes, fill them so full they'll regret their decision instantly. See how JD Vance didn't give a shit if we were committing war crimes, as well as how the US put a bounty on the Venezuelan president? Yep. History repeats itself constantly. Isn't it fun to see them try and fail to manufacture consent this time? Although it is becoming more and more proof that they actually do not care if the manufactured consent that they try to force upon people doesn't work. They will still just do whatever they want. They showed the video the other day when I was at the gym. I think it was Wednesday. I'm pretty sure it was a Wednesday. I'm pretty sure it was Wednesday. On the TV, they showed the video of the US Navy blowing up that civilian boat, that like just little fishing boat with an engine on the back of it. And I've like looked at it. I was like, they're not gonna show the missile hitting them or anything, right? There's no way. And then they did. They played the whole footage. And I was like on the, not the elliptical, I was on the treadmill at the time. And I just stopped. I was like, they just aired 11 people being blown to bits on national television. I was so flabbergasted at the time. I like ended the cardio I was doing and I was like, I'm just gonna go to the weight section so I can't see the television anymore. But Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Possible confirmation the boat was civilian, by the way. Like, these guys were probably just poor fishermen, either out fishing or moving themselves somewhere else. And they were evaporated. I'm not going to show you. You can find it online. It's not like, unfortunately, it's not like, I say this, unfortunately, is not the word for it. Would have only like one or two dudes on it. Yeah, that would be like one or two dudes. They'd both be sitting by the motor, and then the entire front, you would be able to see like product and shit. That was a boat with nothing in it but 11 people. Which would not be new for Trump's administration. North Korea? What about North Korea? Weirdly enough, I've also been seeing a lot of, what's the word? The like deprogramming of fucking North Korean propaganda. No, okay. That's a weird way to say it. I don't mean propaganda coming out of North Korea. I mean propaganda about North Korea. I have seen so many historians coming out and being like, yeah, the shit you've been told about North Korea is mostly bunk. I'm like, huh? And people have been like covering the US South Korea like CIA branch that essentially pays upward almost $1 million to people to defect and then join a like propaganda ring where they basically just lie straight to the public. SEAL Team 6 apparently wiped out. Oh, the fishing boat! Oh my God. I don't think it was SEAL Team 6. It was the SEAL Team. I don't think it was SEAL Team 6. I just don't know that for sure. It could have been. Yeah. They went to North Korea. Apparently the goal was to put a like wiretap inside one of the like higher ups like offices or something so that they could listen in on conversations. The SEAL team gets caught by civilian fishermen while they're out night fishing, and the SEAL team killed every single one of them and then left. They didn't do the mission. They left. My the 2000s internet videos live. It's very much like, oh, that was nasty. I'm sorry, I just spit on the phone in front of me. And using the $1 million missile to do it. Yeah, it was during Trump's first term, right? It was like 2017 when they said this mission took place. I'm pretty sure that's when it was. It was during Trump's first term for sure. Oh my God. The thing is they weren't supposed to get caught. They got caught by these fishermen, decided they were going to kill them, punch holes in them so that there was no like air or anything so that they would sink when they left them in the water, and then just left. They gave up on the mission. They massacred a fishing boat of civilians and then left. Uninstall the mod that added humans? Kind of wish. Where's at Earth updates? That's what we need right now. We need at Earth updates. Oh my God. It's not even Congress is given notice, apparently. The like oversight committee, I think typically the oversight committee is the one that's like given notice of operations like that are happening. That's fucking insane. It's, oh my God. I don't know at this point. It feels like there's a lot of things changing in the world right now, and it feels weird to be like, okay, maybe I did misunderstand X location. How long until he just straight up carpet bombs a U.S. city? Maybe about to see it with Boston or Chicago. I don't know. We will see. We will see what fucking happens. I am deeply curious. That's one of the things that I've been doing recently is it's like, I've been learning a lot of things of like the American propaganda that I ate like as a kid and growing up. Wait a second. What is that? Oh, that's the text from you renewing your season pass. That looks so weird on the chat panel. Why have I never noticed that it looks like that? Strange. Oz, but thank you for renewing your season pass using Bezos bucks. Remember, guys, you don't spend your Bezos bucks. Jeff Bezos gets to keep your money. He just it's the carpet bomb one. Don't trust Kim Jong Un. You don't have to trust Kim Jong Un because it's again. I'm not about to start saying some glorious leader bullshit. It's not perfect. It's not great. But it's definitely not as bad as we were led to believe. And I know most people, because I keep seeing these videos, and there's always the people like, well, what about the famine in the 90s where like millions of North Koreans died? Do you know how that happens? Do you know historically how that happens? Insert yours and other leaders here. Correct. North Korea had that major famine. No. Actually, no. Well, kind of. That definitely like kind of falls into it. North Korea's major river flooded almost all of their arable lands and essentially washed away their crop for the year. It was gone. Upon that happening, the US immediately sanctioned the shit out of them so that they couldn't get any food brought in. Instead of North Korea being able to be like, fuck, we're out of food, and being like, let's go to China, let's go to Japan, maybe South Korea will help us and keep our people from starving. The US just decided to flex on them even harder and be like, no. That famine was not caused by their own government. That famine was caused by the US. And it's oh my God. I hate it. I hate it so much. Talking about the martial law is going to look like in my area, because at this point it seems to guarantee fuck this timeline. Actually existing socialism to talk about North Korea today. Turns out it's a lot easier to go there so long as you're not American or a journalist. Hell, it's harder to go there if you're from China than other countries. They're actually letting Americans in for like tourism stuff. Of course, they're very, very guided situations. The thing is, too, there's a lot of people that'll be like, oh, yeah, you just get like a curated like event, and like all those people that are locals or like government officials only and stuff that are like staged there to make it look good. Apparently, in reality, it's, again, those are normal people going about their day. It's very strange to it. It also feels a little weird sometimes when you see those after like growing up in the US and like everything you hear about North Korea is that it's like, it's dystopian as shit. Everything's awful there. Everything you hear about it is negative, basically. And then you see like videos of people going there and you're like, well, it's not perfect, but it's like, it's not even close to what they like describe it as. It's like, Not even to mention that they essentially would have won the Korean War. They almost did. Weirdly enough, they almost did win the Korean War. Anyway, I don't think we need to talk about this. This is like a weird topic to go on about incessantly. But let me do some things here real quick. I needed to change a tab. All right. Murdoch. Talking about what martial law is going to look like in my area. Nah. Yeah, no, I was just saying hi. It's already been an hour. What the fuck? Anyway. Okay. What's up? But, oh, here it is. I just saw a separation of church and state is trending. Oh boy, here we go. Is it even? What the hell does that sound? It's sort of like a rumble. It sounded like a plane or something going by. That was weird. Also, hold on. What did the White House post? For America to be a great nation, we must always be one nation under God. Fuck. Hold on. Okay. Hi, Hollow. How are you doing? I should just block the White House on all my socials. It's so fucking unhinged. The thing is, like, these were comments. I was like, wait, I just realized that person's responding to the White House. All right, I gotta go see what he's responding to. There's also POTUS and press secretary. Well, I hate it. I hate it. Every day it gets worse. Every day it gets worse. What are we talking about? I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about treaty Tripoli as the United States government is no way founded under the yeah. Yeah. Although I know there's fucking like Christian nationalists out there that if you bring that up to them, they'll be like, well, that's just a treaty. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Ford's relationship advice. If you want to keep things interesting, dress like a nurse so your partner can live out the ultimate fantasy of pretending they have health care. Oh no. Oh no, I hate it. All right. Doesn't want to talk about it. Words you don't want to hear for $500. Listen, it's fine. It's totally fine. All right. Oh my God, I never started the fucking Twitter post. The Twitter stream. Anywho's it's. Hold on a second. I like set up everything. It just didn't click start stream or start broadcast. What was it? Crime scene cleaners. Nightmare mode. There we go. There we go. All right. 2 words I hope I never hear again are Kint's Novens. Oh no. Unfortunately, probably going into this seemingly Christo-fascist nonsense, you're about to hear this shit out of like science deniers using Kint Hovind as a fucking source. Even though that man is 1, an idiot, 2, dishonest as can be, and 3, a motherfucking tax evader. And people still think to this day, his supporters think to this day that he was jailed for his beliefs and not for the fact that he dodged like tens of thousands of dollars in taxes. Kent Hovind is a, oh God, how do you describe Kent Hovind? We'll just go with young earth creationist, who is arguably used by a lot of other young earth creationists as their source, even though he makes up his shit constantly. Yes, exactly. He's also the one who constantly pitches kinds as a thing. If you ever hear a creationist or someone who's like trying to pitch kinds when it comes to biology, they're gonna fucking lie to you, and they're fucking morons. Because to them, a kind would be like everything that vaguely looks like a horse is a horse. A zebra, a fucking regular like horse, any kind of wild Mongolian horse, an equus. All of those to them are the same thing. A cat. A cat is the same thing. Whether it's a tiger, a lion, a jaguar, a puma, a mountain lion, a domestic house cat, any of those things, they're the same thing. Those are the same thing to Kent Hovind. All right, so do we need to buy a new PC or an AR? Just get a handgun. Just get a handgun. Is a giraffe a horse? No, probably not. The thing is they want those like more spectacular animals. If you've ever seen a children's book where they're like showing like Noah's Ark and stuff, zebras, giraffes, elephants, lions, trying to think of some of the other ones. Basically, I think every like staple African animal is gonna be basically in the image. Cat girls, oh no. Points to the bird. Is this a butterfly? Yeah, that's not to mention the like, let's say like trillions of ants, trillions of different kinds of ants out there. Well, okay, millions of species of ants, trillions of individual ants out there. And they're saying that they took 2 ants and then they proliferated to create the millions of species of ants that we have today. Amazing idea. Ken Hovind has never enforced the copyrights on his early videos so the furries can chop him up or riff on him for comedy. That's why a lot of people use the footage of his old tapes. Oh, that's ad break. And I did not set up our ad break game. All right, hold on a second. I'm going to get the screen down, but the easiest one to get open right now is going to be words. So let me do that. Words. Load, damn you. Load, damn you. Okay. Words on stream. Boop. I need to set up something that like actually like forcibly changes the like setup so that I can have like a point that like the whole screen will forcibly change to like ad watch or something like that. Of the early internet era coming back and teaming up with the grifting shittles that survived it. Ugh. Yeah. But most common animal, and it's always ants. It's always ants. I mean, the largest, like, by individual count, the largest group of animal is insects. Insects outnumber, like, every other family by a fucking lot. Like, what is the, hold on, what is the ratio insects to other species? 80% of the world's species are made up of insects. The total number of species on the planet are 80 to 90% insects. Awesome. Awesome. New bug girl every other week? Yes. Correct. Because there are so many options to take from. There are so many goddamn bugs out there that you can have so many. Oh. All right. More species of beetles than all known beetles, all non-beetles combined? That sounds about right. That sounds about right. Uncorn? Uncorn? What are you uncorning? 2 points. 2 points. Come on, guys. Hey, there you go. There you go. Oh, we got 30 seconds. Do we? Yeah, fuck it. We'll do one more. We'll do one more. I'm fine with that. Then afterwards we can jump probably right into crime scene cleaner. Probably right into it. All the words. Yippee! My favorite species of beetle is Paul. I don't know. Paul's pretty great. Paul's pretty great. But... okay, this is a lot of the same stuff I've already seen. Okay. Hi, Vapors. How are you doing? Welcome in. Wait, who is this? Who are you? Okay. Hi. But what the fuck? Okay. Or Doctor Who fans rather? Wait, what? No Star Trek fans among the devs? Wait, I need to catch up. Zombies server? Oh, hell yeah, Vapors. Oh, does she still have me on the, like, it automatically announces when I go live? Ash was the best. Isn't she still live? I could have swore Ash was still live, isn't she? Let me double check. Because I saw her post this morning and she was doing... oh, what was it? the she was doing prep for a convention, wasn't she? Oh no, she's not live right now. Well done. Well done. Whatever are we going to do? Meep, Doctor Who reference, Sag. I don't know why. When I hear Meep, I think of the Phineas and Ferb episode. All right. Wait, y'all did perfect on that one? Damn. Skip 5 levels? Fuck. All right. Put that away. And then let me go ahead and change the category. Yoink, yoink. Crime scene. I totally misspelled that. Kalina. Also misspelled it there too. Anyway. Boop, boop. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, boop, boop. All right. We're going over. Yeah. Oh, I clicked the wrong button. I clicked the wrong button. Anyway, give me my shit back. I want my small eyes. I wish to have my small eyes. I'll put the jacket away. I'll put the jacket away too. All right. Crime scene cleaner. I hear Meep and I think Beaker. Meep. Finally, the fun stuff? What do you mean the fun stuff? Am I not fun? I'm not fun anymore. Y'all don't like me anymore. Sag. All right. Do we want to do our usual thing and we just kind of like leave this a little... Let's give it an appropriate volume at least. And then we can just leave the music. Do we just kind of want to jam today? Step 1. How to hide a crime. It's fine. Thing too is I think the last time we did this... Oh, what was it? We did the pizza place? Affair with Death. Friendly Fire. Okay, we did the mansion. Friendly Fire is... This was the one that had the cats. So Party's Over is the one that we haven't done. What the fuck is that light? No. The museum's after. This is the one that was the like campsite. And we have not done the campsite yet. Yeah, this is Crime Scene Cleaner. We're doing the nightmare mode. So it's like a more spookier version. Where we're basically like inside our own head. So like the crimes are slightly different from what they were originally.
This land is much older than we can imagine. One would say if you want to throw a party, you don't
What the fuck is this loading screen?
At least not to wake up any ghosts.
Oh, it's a game? How is it, by the way? It's super fun. I really like this game. We played through the entire regular campaign, so we're doing the nightmare mode because this came out like barely just after we played through the whole thing. So usually this is a campsite, like a very normal campsite, but oh, Ritual of Voldir. I don't know what language that is. Okay, I'm sure that's fine. I'm sure that's totally fine. Great, and there's just immediately trash everywhere. Ah, yes, our gloves. Our cleaning gloves. What the hell? Oh, of course this counts as being dirty. They're not doing, it's not doing the like little shimmy thing. Meat! Okay, who exploded? Someone exploded. Probably don't read that out loud. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's probably made up. I'm like 90% certain it's made up. Okay, give me that. Where are the horrors? Oh, it's the deer people again. My brands!
Why have you called us? This place is already ours.
Every 10 years, this land needs to run red to new land. And the chaos must reign. That is the law. All hail the wicked one.
Okay. I guess? Oh, what the fuck? That was weird. Wait, why did it give me a silhouette like they were trash I could pick up? Oh no, cheese. Oh, good lord. Okay. Oh, like meat. I'm sure this will be fine.
Making a mother of all omelets here, Jack. Cast bread over every egg.
Oh, the chair's in the way. Of course it is. Hold on. Oh, still didn't get it. There we go. I suppose it is totally fine that the... Oh, hello. Oh, it's the ritual again. It was the same thing. Okay. Nope. Go in there. Bitch. Alright. Of course, the most important part. The katana. Here, Metal Gear Rising, or was it my imagination? I don't think there was we were playing a song from Metal Gear Rising. Is that all of it? You look like you need to be broken too. Yeah, I figured that was gonna be the case. Especially because, yeah, table takes up so much space. Oh, you're still not broken completely? Fine. Okay. Give me that meat. Alright, fish clean time. And yes, I am just gonna push this cheese. Sorry, chat, this cheese is not for you. Alright, now why are you dirty? Don't know where you go just yet. Oh, shit. Excuse me, pardon me. Did I get it? Oh my god, we have to put the cheese up there? Oh, you're joking. I'm sorry, chat. Apparently, I have to set the cheese for you. Crazy work. Crazy work. All right, where's the rest of the cheese? Ducks, ducks. Cheese. Wait. There's like a silhouette of like swans here? Anyway, cheese. Excellent cheese, yes. You are gonna go right here. I need that chair though. I do in fact need, hi buddy, this chair. I don't care if there's a black duck sitting underneath it, I need the chair. Yeah, okay. Can we go inside? Locked. Ah, there we go. I was like, there's gotta be a... Oh, hey, there's the other cheese. I was gonna say, there's gotta be a faucet around here. Excuse me. Cheese for the rat god. All hail Ratma. All hail Ratma. Alright, pardon me while I just clean a path here. All right. Listen, I remember in the last mission, or the regular version of this mission, there was like a stack where like we had to stack these up like here, but it doesn't look like it's here this time. Okay. Buckets. Buckets. We're gonna clean all of our stuff first. And then we'll redo this. And then we can get our soaps. Excellent. Excellent, yes. All right, let's go. Don't break, don't break, don't break. Code everything. Okay. Who knew cleaning would be a popular gaming genre? It's pretty, I'm not gonna lie, they did a good job with this game. And like power wash sim and stuff. It's really good. Oh, god damn it. Yeah. Pick you up real quick. Just kind of getting a little bit of the area around this because I think I'm just gonna mop this area after I pick up all the fucking trash. Oh, son of a bitch, come here. All the trash on the goddamn planet, apparently. I still think it's a little bit of a shame that I don't get the really cool black hole skin until after we do the art museum. Okay, those are both. That's full. Oh god, wait, where's that guitar riff coming from? You know what, buddy? You're coming with me. Let's go. Let's get you cleaned up. No, I can't pick. Wait, can I pick you up? No, I can't. Okay. He do be T-posing. He do still be T-posing. Cleaning some of the Tony Hawk skating mechanics. Who remembers Foam Stars? Does anybody remember Foam Stars? You know, the fucking game about being a billionaire's kid and deciding that you were just going to cover the entire city in soap foam. Oh, sorry, let me phrase that. You get a surgery that lets your body produce soap foam that you then decide that you and your friends are going to go cover the entire city in it. I wish I was joking, but that's the fucking plot. It's so stupid. Did we get... Okay, we did get all the trash. All right, I'm going to move this over here until we figure out where it needs to go. Okay, you're clean. You're clean. Damn, that got dirty fast. All right, let's do... Where's our other sponge? Let's get these cushions. Damn! That was fast. Here, real quick. Again, those balloons seem like they're just, like, spectral for some reason. I don't think it's gonna give me the privilege of cleaning this entire floor with these 2 whole mops. Yep, I was right. Wait. Oh, both of the sponges are dirty. Okay. Let's do this. Okay. Oh. Of course I missed spots. Of course I did. Okay. It's good. Missing chair there. Only sponge. Not only sponge. Not only sponge. See? Like, that was fucking 4 sweeps, and now it's completely dirty. That one's completely dirty, too. All right. Let's do this. There's only one thing left to do, boys. I still feel like maybe I should go do like one of the hardcore like small levels, so I can just get like a bunch of points to level up the power washer, because I did not level it up when we did the regular campaign, and unfortunately nightmare mode doesn't give you any money, which means you also don't get any like, what is it? You don't get any like skill points or anything, which I think is a weird... Oh, I'm frozen. Why am I frozen? Gonna run out of water before I finish this wall, I'm pretty sure. Oh no, we did it. Nice. Oh god, what is that gas? All right. Take you. We're gonna refill you. After I do... Actually, those are good. We'll just refill this for now. Okay. Laser fixes everything. Laser does fix everything. Plus, it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun now that it's a laser instead of just the regular power wash thing. I can't tell if it's making these, like, if the swans are substantial or if I'm just like shooting straight through them. I think I'm shooting straight through them. Uh-oh. Wait, that wasn't there before. Upset. Okay. Pick you up. Was there stuff? There it is. Okay. You. Clean up the wine. All right. Hello. Hello. Where is this gonna take me? Oh. Witness the tragic love story? Key. Rusty key. You say so we get more cleaning time? Yeah, we'll probably will. I think after this level, we'll go do like the realistic cleaning section. We'll do like the first level. We'll do like the first level of realistic cleaning. Just so that we can get some money. I got an achievement for going in there. That's interesting. Ah, yes. Of course. You know what? Can I get you down there, buddy? Here, I'll take that for you. Gosh darn it. All right. That hookah has to go somewhere. I feel like it's going to go inside. Also, there's the... I'm so proud of them for printing off sheets for every person to have. That's really nice of them. All right. Let's go put you in here, big man. And then we'll clean the section. They're cultists, not monsters. Sure. Oh, that was the rest. Uh-oh. How do we get inside there? I'm gonna go ahead and pick this up and just come put it over here because I'm pretty sure... Well, it looks like there's 3 glowing ones in there. That's interesting. Somebody exploded. Oh, wait. I saw you. I saw your ass. You thought you could run from me? Anyway. Clean you. Clean you. You are now dirty. Filthy! Alright. Oh yeah, thank you. Thank you for letting them know what the song was. Alright, come here. Yeah. And then we're gonna go over here where the fence opened up. So we can... Excuse me, pardon me. We'll put you here for now. Yoink. 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 I think I did forget to clean one thing, did I? Doesn't actually look like it. Okay, even better. Oh boy. Oh, this is already dirty. Excuse me, pardon me. Just kind of slop it up. Punch it out. You know, as you do. Corpse? Hello? Ooh. Oh, I don't like the noises. Oh, can't open that door for some... I see you. Wait. Is that a cutout of somebody? What the fuck? No, then. Get out of the way. You there? Chair. Chair. Oh, there it is. Okay, hold on. Can we go around the back here? Oh, we can. Also, there's that secret room that was here before. Barrel. You are undoubtedly going... Secret spot. Don't mind if I do. Excuse me, pardon me. Just... there we go. Fuck you. Hello? Hello? Oh, I'm gonna need... Fuck it. Give me the axe. Fuck off, mate. Oh, god damn it. Alright. We'll have to carry you out with us. Hello? Hello? Something tells me this game of William Tell did not go very well. Hell yeah. Okay. I do not like the loud fucking crow. Tootsie, how are you doing? All right. Don't want to forget this. Don't want to forget this one little bit. All right, let's go take this back to the other... What is it? The other bag that we have. That's not the right door. I was like, why is that door closed? I didn't close that door. All right, you come here. What are you up to, Tootsie? All right. You can stay there. Then we need to go check the back again, because we need to go jump over the thingamadoohickey. This. Oh, actually, here, come here. I have an idea for you. Hup, 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 hup. Katana! Break. Damn you. Bitch. Oh, I see that fist symbol disappear. Put you there for now. Put you there for now. Gosh darn it. Okay. Open door. Chair. Go. Go here. Clean that up. Clean this up. And then we're gonna have to get the corpse. And the fucking trash. And the fucking trash! Oh god, not the fucking gremlin look. Taking the day to myself. Ooh! Alright. Dirty. Filthy! 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 And also completely fucking spent. Babushka. Okay. Interesting that we have a... Oh, okay. I'm guessing because we need to, like, work through this house. And then we're supposed to go from the back. That seems to be the case. great. And by great, I mean awful. Pounce it. I was pouching it. It's okay. We'll do more pouching in a second. More pouching. All right. I do want to clean my shit though. So, ooh, almost just fucking ran it over. Okay, let's do this. Actually, we're gonna take the bucket because that other faucet is back there. Wicks for me. Wicks for me. Okay. Clean this up. Also, I'm pretty sure the foundation to this building is like quartz for some reason. So you know that this place was built by a rich bitch. In the actual story, if I remember correctly, it's Big Jim's daughter who's like throwing a party. Darn it. Get clean, get clean, get clean, get clean. Excuse me, pardon me. That's beer. Too dirty. Clean one. Might as well clean the other. Going up. Yep. All right. Thing too is there's no things to like steal in this one, so you can't get any like bonus money. My favorite cleaning appliance is the fish. Okay. Oh, we can't actually go out this window like we could in the other mission. Because in the other mission we had like the like not pagoda, the like pavilion. All right, let's go corpse. Oh, this is the crispy one. Oh, I couldn't jump down. I have to take the ladder real slow, like, apparently. Punches someone, making the morgue unclean. Listen, proper cleaning methods will not make somebody dirty. It's like whenever you watch like an anime or a manga that's like they're training some dude in like fighting of some kind, but the way they train him is just beating the shit out of him, but they still never. Why are you still waddling? Are you trying to run away from me? Come here. Doink. There we go. There we go. Okay. Da-da-da-dum. All the way back to the party. Now we got to do this. Excuse me, pardon me. Coming through. Oh my god, we're only at 20%, 26% of all the blood in the cabins. I'm kind of scared to go to the other cabin. Okay. Sorry, bud. Okay. Let me just... Oh, shit. Yeah. Doing trash pickup first. Fuck your tricycle. Is it not? There we go. That's better. Okay. What is that? Why is it moving? I don't know. That just made me think of the fucking Bo Burnham Spider song. Spider hiding in the corner, super fucking normal. I ain't afraid of no spider. Get up there. Smash, 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 smash. Good lord. All right, buddy, let's go. We're taking you out of here. Chat, is it bad I really want pizza now? I had like a slice of pizza on Saturday. And all having a single slice of pizza does to me is crave more pizza. I love pizza by the slice places, but I go there and I'm like, yeah, the $6 for a pretty big slice of pizza is not the worst. And I eat it, I'm like, I need more pizza. Hi, Radio Raptor, how are you doing? Okay, I was just thinking. What do we have left? Let's clean the couch. I don't think these gloves are. Yeah, that's what I thought. Oh, you're still fine. All right, couch is clean. Must clean table. Pouch. What's wrong, Impy? I couldn't get that out of my head. Spider hiding in the corner. Super fucking normal. I ain't afraid of no spider. Oh God, why is it moving? Jesus. Some of these sprays of blood make very little sense. Do I have anything? I do not. All right. I gotta go back this way. Excuse me, pardon. Wait, we didn't check to see if there was... Aha! Axe. Because weirdly, this axe feels kind of faster than... Of course. Okay, come here. Go out there. You... Oh. Well, we know somebody was going around with the crossbow or something. I mean, technically we already knew that because we saw the secret room. How did I get what from let what who huh? That's not English. Oh, let. That's how you let married into your head. Gotcha. It's too late. I already lived there. I know every thought you have. Y'all are perverts. Disgusting. Every single one of you. All right. Let's see. Was there any more trash in here? Doesn't seem like it. But we need to go clean our stuff because we can't really pick you up. Gonna need you. Pretty sure we're still missing a different chair somewhere. Almost certainly. All right. Go up. Gotta go this way. And then down. We're gonna clean. Oh, actually, hold on. Oh, shit. No, God damn. Oh, you were so far away. Why did that snatch you back? I'm upset. Let's do it this way. Another sponge. Okay. Clean it. Get out our shit. You. Flip. You. Okay. Coat everything. Oh, wait, you weren't clean? God damn it. I thought I cleaned all of them. Oh, we can actually go over here. Okay, hold on. Also, I just realized we didn't finish cleaning the other guy's pedestal. This chuckle fuck. I don't think that's going to be enough to clean it all, but I can certainly try my best. Actually, maybe it will be. Nice. Nice. All right. Put you away. How do we get this guy? Oh, this is unlocked. Oh, shit. I did not realize this was unlocked. All right, let's go ahead and put you. All right. Let's go get you because I said so. Okay. So all of these guys are going to be holding the various, like, hookahs. We'll probably find somebody that's, like, holding the skull at some point. I'm assuming that is going to be the case. Either that, or we're going to find out that the skull is literally just, like, lying around somewhere. All right. Sponge. Footprints. Probably my footprint, honestly. Punch. You have been purified, hookah. You are going on the porch. Where did I put... Oh, there's the other one. Wink. Okay. Okay, hold on. You're getting refilled. Thank you. Excuse me, pardon me, coming through. Because it's easier to use you than dirty, like probably every single one of my other utensils, to clean this. Okay. Ah, it's you. That's why you go so fucking far back. All right, this is the last cheese chair. Chat, who's taking the last cheese chair? This isn't the charcuterie board I ordered. Nice. Oh, to be purified at the carnival? Become purified. Why not? Where did I... Oh, I left it all the way back there. Gotcha. Give me that. Yeah. Fine, fall over. See if I care. Alright. You're coming with me. I'm sure that's fine. I'm sure that's fine. Anyway, let's just... Kobe! Nope, that didn't work. Really, bud? Having the goddamn audacity to get your arm stuck? Excuse me? Alright, that's fine. I want the hookah. Come here. Ow. Ow. Excuse me, pardon me. Yoink. Alright, let's go, Mr. I only wear denim. Can I have a dairy makes bones strong? Ugh, it also makes the tummy upset. Are you sure you want dairy? Too far away from the station instead of, oops, you just yanked everything out. Sucks to suck. Listen, it's fine. It's fine. It's time for your baptism. You think this is the chair that goes in here? I think it is. I don't know. We'll find out the hard way. We'll find out the hard way. All right, let's see if we can hose this down. And power washer do be doing numbers. Hello. We get enough? I think we did. Put you away. Bucket. How are we doing? I think we've used anything yet. Okay. Bucket. You're gonna go right here. Oh boy, here we go. Excuse me, tricycle. I'd like to get past you. If you don't mind. You. Get you in place. You are already clean. You in place. Get you the fuck out of the way. Okay. Just gonna try and separate these rooms for my own. Oh my god. I don't think there's this much blood in 2 human bodies. Come here. I'm gonna have to pull out the UV light. Hold on. Where is my lights? Donk. Shits. All right, that's out. Good Lord. No wonder I still had like over 50% shit to clean when I got to this. Go back in the bag. All right, can I put the couch back yet? All right, thank you. Sponge. Get clean, get clean, get... Oh, son of a bitch. Do I have... No, you can't do this to me! Fuck! Alright, bucket. Sponges first. Mop second. Luckily, I'm pretty sure there wasn't anything upstairs because we came in from upstairs. Clean punch, clean punch, clean punch. Don't know if that trike goes somewhere. Ugh. 3 hole sweeps, 2 hole sweeps. Isn't that great? I really think that there's a bug with like the fish skin. Either that or they've just like increased the fucking like blood multiplier or something. Cause these gloves compared to the mops are fucking cracked. Okay. Oh, still little ones here. Well, I just... Gotta double check. Gotta double check. Alright, I think we're good. So, to get to the next area, make it filthy, and then there's no back this way. Let's go check this way. Hup. Ah. I see, says the blind man. Aha. Okay. Oh, you're stuck to the tree. Okay, I see. Twirl it. And then... You know what? Let's go get this guy. Ups to daisies. Woo. Oh, you look fantastic. Give me that bolt. Now give me your hams, Miss Ma'am.
Is this your perfect hiding space?
Not yet, but it will be when we fall deeper into the nightmare. So that we can
What?
find us.
I don't know if I can do it.
You have to. This is our only chance.
You gotta be efficient with bleeding bodies. It's just skill. Yeah, this is like too much waste. Also, that I'm pretty sure is a chair that goes in the cabin, so don't let me forget that chance. I don't think this is the skull that we need. I'm pretty sure that's just here. Excuse me, pardon me. Okay, then we'll get our bucket on the way back. It goes in the corner. It goes in the corner. Do not think it's the cuck chair. You better not. All right, bucket. Not this way. This way. Excellent. Excellent. And then we can just yoink. Come back here. Come back here. Boss it. You're dirty. Oh! Okay. No, stop. It's trying to get pulled back into the thing. God damn it. All right, hold on. Any trash? No trash. Gonna put me out of a job at this rate. Oh, there's the bucket. I needed the cleaning stuff. There we go. Whoops. You know, yeah, give me the strength one. We'll see what, like, double strength looks like. Okay. Yoink, 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 yoink. Okay. All right, buddy. We're taking you for a walk. Excuse me. Trying to sprint, but it's not going so well. Dutch cheese. Does it make any good grilled cheesing? Ooh, good question. I don't know. I don't think there's any grilled cheese that's better than having like Parmesan mixed in with it. Nope, I went to the wrong door. It was this door. This door over here. All right. Let's clean up this. And then we'll need to go get upstairs. Which... Shit. I don't think this... Yeah, that won't let me up. So we have to do the outside. We can only get up to the second floor from the outside. From here. Oh, shit. Ooh, thought I jumped off for a second. Damn. Wait, this double strength is kind of crazy. Oh, and then it's completely dirty. And then you're completely dirty in one fucking sweep. Are you serious? Come on. Go. All right. Here. Cleaning, cleaning, cleaning. All right. I know I saw that there. Whew. Okay. In the window. The window. I make these with cheddar and feta? It's gonna be a no for me, dog. That sounds not that enjoyable. Feta? Really? I don't know. That doesn't sound that great. Isn't feta like a really unmeltable cheese? I'm pretty sure. Do whatever you want with it. Kind of differs. It differs. All right, we need to go clean our shit. Book it. Book it. Book it. And book it. All right. Excuse me, bucket. I need to get past you so that I can go right back upstairs. Hup. Nice. Okay, it says we're still missing 2 things. Which I think the way to it was back here. Yeah, there you are. I see you. Yoink. Hand axe. Excuse me. Hey, buddy. Anything else back here? Doesn't look like it. All right. So we have the key to the house. We have this man. We're just gonna peek around the corner real quick and just kind of go. Nope. Of course. Of course his T-posing ass gets stuck. Y'all saw that, right? There was a silhouette there. This chair. I think this chair is important. Wait, I want to take the chair. I want to take the chair. Son of a bitch! Kobe. Alright. Alright, yeah, let's do this. Yeah. I'll clean it up. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Going back up. Jump. Take you. Then we gotta go through here. Because I feel like this chair goes inside. Just throw you over there. Let's go, petting. Well, if I could do anything that I'm making cheese hat. A cheese hat? Like the goofy Wisconsin like wedge cheese hat. It's a very cute hat. It's a very funny hat. I'd like one of those cheese hats. Even though I literally do not like what is it? Cheddar at all. Not even a little bit. Open says me. Back to picking up trash. Don't mind me. Excuse me, I'm just gonna throw this right on out here. Because we're also gonna have to pick up the fucking... You know what, let's go ahead and bring these things in here. You. Hey, you. I don't understand 3 hookahs, though. It still doesn't make a lot of sense. Don't you dare roll away from me. Seems good to me. Meat in the trash can. I'm sure that's fine. Oh. Is that the mannequin head making that sound? Don't like that one bit. Not one bit at all. Alright, you go there. Yeah. We have another one of these. But I don't know where it goes yet. Didn't we have a third? No, I think I brought it all the way over there already. It's fine. It's fine. Totally fine. Alright, let's get this section, the doorway, at least cleaned up a little bit. Clean you up. Axe. Give me my hand axe. Smash. 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 Okay. Oh, I should have known. Give me that fucking splinter. All right, we got a minute and a half until the ad break. Slides 4,000 carnival tickets to the folder. Will you clean a scene for me? The details in the folder. Aww. Yeah, I'll clean up a scene for you. Whatever you say, boss. Give me that. Any other trash in here? All right. Yeah, this bathroom is... I'm pretty sure exactly as dirty as it was in the original mission. Okay. Go ahead and put a bucket in here. Gimme. This is showing me. And then I want this one. Okay. Ah, there's the chairs. Dirty. Jesus fucking Christ. I'm sorry, I was so focused. Scared the shit out of me, dude. Oh.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
I don't think I want to put you on the table just yet. Come on, you're coming with me. We're gonna put you like here. Yeah, I think you'll like it there. All right, somebody shit all over this chair. When you remove sounds from the alerts, it's fine. What do you mean? I know, the ad break's about to start. I know. Hold your horses. Oh, son of a bitch. All right, yeah, we'll pause it there. I got raided. Wait, what? No! Mew! Wait, I didn't see anybody freaking out. Go piss. Go piss. Oh, I did miss it. How the fuck did I miss the whole thing? I'm sorry, Mew. I'm so focused on cleaning. I'm so focused on cleaning. Thank you so much for the raids. Ah! I'm sorry. Yeah, I think I do need to make something. I want to get like a raid trailer at some point. The thing is, I just don't know what to do. Screaming into the void? I saw you like saying things, but like blinds, like those don't tell me that you got. Oh, there it is. I see Ordain saying you got raided. Still locked in. You're so much shit to clean up. I'm sorry. Okay, I need to run to the bathroom. I need to run to the bathroom though. I really need to piss. Really need to piss. Thank you so much, raiders. I'm so sorry. I didn't notice you. Ah! Thank you so much for the raid, Mew. If you're already gone, I'm so sorry. I hope you get some delicious food. Okay, bye. I gotta go. I gotta go bathroom. Yeah, I know I saw the wrong things. I know I saw the wrong things. Yeah, I'm gonna turn down the music in a second. Hold on. Hold your horses. Hold your horses. All right, I am sorry, Raiders. If any of y'all are still here. Also, hi, tall homework. Wait, what makes homework tall? What makes homework tall? I have several questions. Several questions. All right, sorry, I just want to lower myself a little bit. All right. Okie dokie. Just checking. Am I dead? Welcome back, Raiders. I made a clip. You made a clip. Did you put it in Discord? Did you put it in Discord? It doesn't matter if you do or not. I usually end up checking like the section. I end up checking the section. But around homework, tall homework. Oh. All right, let me put this away. Put this away. And then I think we're good. I'm gonna turn the music down just a little bit more to like -35. There we go. All right. How was I doing? All right, cleaning. Oh, Jesus. Okay, hold on. I didn't realize there was also so much shit back here. Clean up around these bottles just so that I don't break them. The hell? That was weird. Filthy. Oh. Uh-oh. And dirty. Clean. Clean. Okay. Let's do this. Let's get some of this floor surface area all slopped up. Bye, skull. Here, come here. Okay. Ooh. What the heck? Why did it swap? Wait, what the fuck is it doing? Is it my mouse? Is my mouse registering that it's scrolling or something? Oh my god. Alright, let's try and do this wall. I don't know what these the skins on the wall are. Thank you, low ceilings. Okay. Yeah, let's do the rest of this. And then we can start bringing the barrels in, because we are still definitely missing quite a few. Oh, there's one in there. All right. One barrel. Go there. 2 barrel. 3. I'll put this one on top. Come on. Can I? Is it not gonna let me? Okay then. Excuse me. Oh, interesting. Excuse me. Will you go on top? No, you won't. Okay. Not a top. What could you do? Listen, it happens. I guess unfortunately, this isn't date everything, so I'm a little surprised to find out that this, oh, what do you call it? Preferences? Uh-oh.
You need to repeat the cycle. Slay them all in the name of the wicked one.
Oh, was that the gulping? Oh, I didn't like that. Ooh, did not like that one little bit. All right. Clean. 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 Not clean. Seducing the barrels? No, we're not seducing the barrels. Are you insane? You're absolutely not seducing the barrels. This, like I said, this is not date everything. I still think it's a little funny that little dude is, Alright, come on. Yeah. Go, oh no, let me back in. Let me back in! Okay. Table. Are you the right table? I think you are the right table. Maybe? Alright, chair. We have 2 more here. Okay, there's only 3 chairs. I thought there was 4 for some reason. Okay, then. You know what? Let's go. Oh, I'm glad that didn't knock over the tower. Let me back in. Okay. Oh, it's a curtain. Unfinished cleaning. Oh, it's the beer bottle that's in the way. Of course it is. Okay, is that dead fish for a mop? Yes, it is. This is my mop. He's a fish on a harpoon. He's doing his best, okay? He's trying his best. Lemon slices? It's very funny to me for some reason that the cupboard has light on it. What's in here? Someday I will open a microwave and there'll be like a head or something in it. I bet. I bet. Table. Prepare the ritual. Dispose of garbage bags. Okay, okay, okay. Let's go get those other two bodies. Go in there. You two, quit laying around. Okay. Wait. Okay, there's nothing back there, I don't think. We're missing a body somewhere. And so that's 5 total. We're missing the 3 barrels here. So 3 barrels, 4. Okay, so this, it has to be in here. I think. All right, hold on. Let's go look for the barrels. Let's go see if we can find some more barrels somewhere. 7's a lot. Okay, there's one up there. Oh, there's another one. Okay. That was a good throw. Damn, nice. All right. So we're missing one more. Fucking nailed that throw. I'm kind of proud of that one. All right. Was there one? No, we got the one that was like all the way back here. That was like back there. We'll go check again just to make. Ah, yes. Babushka. Anyway. Microwave. I have a sneaking suspicion that the last one's actually going to be in like the 3rd cabin, but I do kind of want to make sure. Ouch. Come here. Hey, Kobe. Kobe. Actually, hold on. No, we did check back here. Okay. I don't think there would be a barrel back here because there's no easy way to get it like back through this tiny hatch. Hello? Hello? Up. Up. Okay. There wasn't one back here, was there? Right? We befriended it to help clean. Wait, the fish? Oh, you're talking about the fish? Yeah, this was just where we found the key. Don't flicker on me. You're gonna freak me out. All right. Oh, I'm stuck. Heads I'm tearing. All right. Let's go ahead and get these on the stack. Why? Oh, do they have specific spots for the top ones? That's so weird. Huh. I wonder if this is in the wrong place, but okay, but hold on. Oh, never mind, there they go. Oh, it is in the wrong place. Very funny. Me absolutely just chucking it. Wait, did that say... Oh, move the furniture back. Okay. So we're missing one barrel and something... Oh, it's probably the skull. It's probably counting the skull as a piece of furniture. There wasn't a barrel back here, was there? I don't see one. Oh, hi, sure. Yeah, thank you. Where is this barrel, dude? You know what? Let's try finishing the ritual and see what happens. I'm sure it'll be fine. If I go in there and there's a fucking beer barrel in there, I'm gonna lose my shit. Also, thank you for self-care. PewDiePie flashback? What do you mean PewDiePie flashback? Also, yes, we are cleaning with punch gloves. Fantastic, aren't they? I'm also mopping with the fish. And my power washer is a laser. Any other questions? Oh, I do have a katana too while I'm here. And an axe. Don't think about it too hard. I swear to... Wait. Oh, no. There's cleanup here. Fuck. Okay. Okay. Son of a bitch, dude. Oh, hey. Oh, you are definitely relevant. I'm gonna guess it's to get you out more than likely. Oh no, there's multiple? Maybe not. What the fuck? Why are there so many broken things? Oh, because they're sometimes in the jars? Are you serious? All right, I guess. Oh God, is it an eye? It's just like slowly rotating. All right, come on. Maybe you go here? Okay, yeah, there's nothing in that jar. Should have known. should have known. All right, let's go make sure we pick up this trash. Oh, stuck. Okay. I'm gonna... Wait, what's down there? Nothing? Just the... Okay, it looks like it's just the pedestal. Yoink, yoink. Oh, that's the portal. Oh, that freaked me out. Where are you in a towel, dude? Oh my god, immediately dirty. Fine, mop. Can I throw you through there? Oh, I can. Nice. Let's go, buddy. Alright, we'll come back for that in a second. Let's go put this body in the truck. We cleaning up Doom Guy? It fucking feels like it, dude. Although... maybe Doom Guy probably leaves more of a mess than what we've been cleaning up. Alright, we still need to find that last fucking barrel, dude. Oh, you just still haven't... Oh, there we go. They both went in at the same time. Where's the Kool-Aid? I'm thirsty. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Okay, again, we're missing one barrel. Barrel. You aren't a barrel, but I like you. Oop. All right, back to the portal. Barrel? Listen, it'd be very funny if there was a whole fucking, like, beer barrel down here. I really don't think there's going to be at all. Yeah, there's not one here. Excuse me. Oop. Uh-oh. Okay, I didn't actually move them. There's gotta be one somewhere. Where have I missed it? Oh, we didn't go check that little secret room that we found one earlier. Fuck you! What are you? Okay, yeah, there was one here and we definitely got it. But just to make sure... This was the secret area. They wouldn't put, like, one of the objectives in here. Yeah, this is where we got the music box. Okay. Oh. That's because we used it for a step. Fucking duh. I see that fucking silhouette again. Fuck you, whatever you are. Oh, I broke something. Of course I did. Of course I broke something. All right. I need 100%. Yeah, I did walk past it. You were correct.
So many signs.
Yes, excellent. I forgot about it. Yeah, I used it to get up on the boxes so that we could get over that section.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
Okay. Which part? was it the me running with the barrel? Yeah, sadly we don't get any money. Instead, we just get demonic lamp sets. Wait, sets? Does that mean every lamp looks demonic? Okay, let's check those out. Lamps. Demonic lamps. Excellent. All right. Okay, do we... Actually, hold on. Let me check the upgrades real quick. Skill tree, pressure washer. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I think... Oh, I kind of really want those upgrades. So, let's do a thing real quick. What would be the easiest one to do in one go? Short circuit. No, that's the whole family one. Toxic love is... Okay, that's the mansion. What was trial by blood? Oh, the spa. Limited upgrades, no cleaner scents. Wait, okay, so it doesn't actually give money, it just gives more skins. At least that seems to be the case. Glove. Money. Some of these, I don't know what they are. Gun. Just gun. What are the lamps for? There's some places that are like really dark, so you can set up regular lamps, or you can set up UV lamps that'll show you like all of the dirty stuff you need to clean. The Italian Job, it's a little bit of a reference. It's a pizza store. It's a pizza store that's also run by like the mafia. Oh, I think we're just gonna go straight into modern art nightmare, right? Right. To get the cool black hole. Ah, fuck it, let's do it. Stick to our guns. Stick to our guns. I know gun, but it's also to get the gun you have to do the nightmare mode. Not nightmare mode, the regular mode, the
Piled up inside,
what is it? Hardcore mode, hardcore cleaner mode.
even reality itself.
With fucking in the warehouse, which is a pain in the ass.
Reporting for duty.
Where's my hello? Box? Okay. So that goes somewhere. Is it here? Because it doesn't seem like the same place is gonna have the same, like... Can I... Oh, maybe it doesn't go here. Because if it did, it would change the color of these. Okay, so this one definitely goes somewhere else. I'm not picking him up yet, just entirely because I don't know where my fucking station is. Alright, do I dare just, like, chuck these through? Yeah, let's do that. I'm actually gonna leave you here for now. Alright, let's go, buddy. You're shitting me. Oh. Alright, come on. Okay, so is this gonna do it like it's rooms by like colors? I'm gonna take you with me real quick. This is red. This is not red.
Praise the Duck Lord.
Don't do duck? Actually, hold on. Well, at least this place technically doesn't look as filthy as it was the first time we did it. And it may be a little easier to do, like, each room. Oh, but there's the Nefertiti headpiece. Oh, fuck. Okay, so never mind. They are all still connected. You won't open. Yeah, and you don't belong there. Oh, this is gonna suck. This is gonna suck so bad. Okay, that's normal. A mask? We're gonna drop you down there for now. There's the hands on top of that doorway, too. Okay, you don't belong there. You're gonna go here. Take this. Pretty sure this doesn't belong here. Because, does anybody remember, there was a yellow room and there was a red room, but was there a white room last time? Alright, you know what? Kobe. Okay. You, sir, can go through the portal. You didn't go through the portal. The goddamn audacity of this man. Join the pile on the other side. Pretty please and thank you. Oh, right. We were going to do this one too. Okay. Okay. Did someone say duck? No, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't think about it. Don't look at the giant ducks on the wall. And there's another painting. Okay. Find 6 misplaced exhibits? What? Go in there. I'm making a pile is apparently what I'm making. Another painting. Go in there. There's still 2 that are not in the correct place. I see you up there. This is gonna suck. Alright. Okay, thank God you didn't break. Wink. So that was the dinosaur bone. That was the T-Rex bone, I remember. There's still another one. Okay. Let's go back. Go see what hell we've made in here. That's what I thought. Alright, so you can go over there. Oh, I did not mean to grab that. You, come with me. You can go there. Okay, so that's duck. That's dining room. That is... I'm not sure. This is the upstairs. What the fuck are you? Okay, hold on, we're going in here. Skull. Jesus, dude. Okay. You're coming with me real quick. So, we have landscape pictures, which I think... That's the upper one. Where did we start? Duck. Cafe. There's the white room. Here, that's where we started. So... You're not it. I'm looking for basically the frameless pictures. All right, you're coming with me. Let's go. And I'm pretty sure that's what goes in here. That's right. That's right. It's the landscapes. Oh, hello. Missed you earlier.
The guy from above calls this place the hallway of the borderland. He said we have to come.
Works for me. All right, where was that white room? Over here? Looks like. All right, you. Go in there. You. Go in there. And you coming with me. Yoink. Okay then. Actually, perfect timing. This is exactly where you go. Rotate, damn you. Rotate, damn you! Blue room. A white table of some kind. Corpse. Alright. Oh, you're actually stuck there. Oh, hi. Bye. Go right on in there. Chair, table. Okay, let's go table. There's another one of those masks. Okay. Hi, Goopy. Oh, there you go. You'd be the easiest one to get. Ah, shit. It's fine. It's fine. Chair be easier? No? Oh, there we go. Okay. Clean, 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 clean. Get cleaner, damn it. This is the downside of not using the, both my mops are kaput. I still haven't broken up the bucket yet, so next time we go back to the center area, that's probably what I'm gonna need to do. Okay. It says there's 8 misplaced things in here. Shit. This says furniture exhibition. Okay, there's a fish. Another painting. Okay. Blue room. You can get picked up. You don't belong here. Oh, that didn't work. Nailed it? Question mark? Okay, so that's one of the cushions we need. Still don't know where this mask goes, so you're going in there for now. Fish, you're going in there too. That's not the right chair. Chair. And one of the white cushions. Okay, so this is not all exactly the same as it was before. Actually, I'm gonna put you closer to here. Those are the 2 cushions we need for whenever we find the white frame. That's supposed to be a globe. So we're gonna go ahead and chuck you in here. Okay. It's acting like you don't belong here, little man. That you definitely don't belong there. SSS. Okay. 3 identical white chairs, regular lawn chair, a weird table. Okay, let's go check some other places. I want to get this white door open. All right, let's take some of the paintings because these abstract ones go... Where is it? No, that's the opening. I see that yellow chair in there, but not the place I'm looking for. Here, upper place. Come here. Oh. Damn it! Go in there. What are you? Another abstract-ish. Okay. You. I'll leave you here for now. You can go there. Get this, clean the mops. Chat, you doing all right? You hanging in there? Oops, I clicked the wrong thing. Then, fuck it, regular resistance is fine. Take you, clean. Clean. Depends? What do you mean depends? Why, did you shit your pants? There it is, that's the upper section. Oh, good lord. You. You. Go in there. Go in there. Well, there's the white chair we were looking for. And we're kind of right next to it, so hold on, let me grab that. Gimme. Gabby. Okay. People chat working? That makes sense. Alright, let's get some of this stuff cleaned up. And pick that up. Whoa there, guys. What's up with all the detonations today? Oh, I haven't heard this song in a fucking long time. All right, hold on. We're gonna take you. Just launch that, dude. Yabby. All right, come on. See that red spine? What is up with the frayed lighting there? Bottle. I don't think this elephant goes here, but I don't know where it goes yet. Yabby. The keyword there was yet. Okay. Take you. Nice. Up. Damn. Beating a dead horse, but not beating a dead person? That's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Okay, where's the portal here? Oh, there it is. Hey, buddy. Behind me, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, we haven't found any of... Oh, wait, what are you? Okay, hold on. Where's that? I'll see if it'll let me stick it on a wall somewhere. You. Come here. Hey, yoink. Oh. Oh, hello. Okay then. Should have known. Ooh, okay. Maybe it doesn't go here. Yeah, because it's not abstract. Oh, What are you doing here, buddy? Get in there. Okay. Let's go. I'll carry you through, bud. Having a hard time, are ya? Not nearly as strong as I thought I was. Fuck you. So you go somewhere, but not here. Fish. Oh, we knocked over the bucket. Ah, there it is. Put you next to fish. And then you go here too. I'm pretty sure. Okay. Let's go double check duck real quick. Because can't interact. Oh. Oh. Oh, okay. Hold on, wait. Now that has my curiosity. Hold on. Nothing? Nothing else? What'd I do? Clear their fucking throats? Are they always gonna spit out branches, though, I wonder? What if I keep clicking it? You never know, they may spit out something else. Alright, Gobi. Oh, I dropped it instead. Gobi. You know what? Let's go do some snooping or walking around so we can figure out exactly. Oh. Oh no.
This place belongs to us now.
What?
You know not what you do.
We know exactly what we're doing.
Wicked one.
Whale. Egg. I'm gonna put you like in the middle of the room. There's another bone. Can I open you? No, I can't. All right. Put you down for now. Pick you up. That's another abstract one. Excuse me while I just, line it up and go. Oh, fuck. One in. Give me this mask. At some point we'll figure out where you go. Obi. Oh, there's the other chair. Get in there. Yeah. There's another painting in here, wasn't there? There you are. Okay. Let's spend countless amounts of time doing that. Fill everywhere with bags. Son of a bitch. Kirby. It tries to like... It's you. You're the exhibit. Okay. Take you. Pardon me, excuse me. At this point, I'm just kind of collecting like all this shit in that like center space. Oh, where's the hands? There they are. Come here. Oh, I gotta sneeze. Oh, jeez. I thought I hit the censor button for a second instead of the mute button. I got scared. I was afraid I was just gonna do that. Oh, well. All right, you're one. That egg is one for sure. I'm apparently hoarding these. You know, I'm gonna open all of these doors that I can reach. I wonder. You were a bathroom. Are you? Nope, there's a chair. We do need you. Wait a second. That's not the right reflection, but okay. Get in there. Where's that egg? There it is. There's also a bust right there. You know what? Hold on. We're gonna go through the portal real quick, and then we're gonna go through the cafe portal. You can go here. Cafe. Here it is. Because now, I'm pretty sure this will let us open the doors. Hell yeah. Bust. Gobi. It says we're still missing 3. Magic doors. Oh, there's one. Barracuda. All right. Gobi.
It's not how it usually works.
This was part of... Wait. Why is this white door the only one that's not open? Do we have the stepladder? I forget. I guess not. I guess we don't have the stepladder. Darn. Darn. Oh, there you are. God, you were impossible to see. What the fuck? One more somewhere. Open the toilet. Oh, darn it. TPPP. Anyway, all right, let's check the rest of this room because we only barely made it in here. Aha. The thinker. Yes, sensor. Ah, Pickles! Pickles! I see it. I'm sorry. Hi, Pickles. How was your stream? I had you open. I didn't get to see what you were making, though. Yeah, I'm eating... here, let's go actually distribute some of the stuff that we know where they go. So, need the yellow chair. Where's the white room? Welcome in, Raiders. How was your stream? Did you have a good time? What trouble did you get into? You need to go there. You. Go over there. Oh, whoops. I'm making a mess is what I'm making. Didn't we find, like, one of the white things? Come here. Didn't we? Okay, this... Oh, where is it? Hold on, where's the... You're the upstairs one. Abstract. Go on. God damn it. Okay. You... Where was the front section? Right there. Ooh. Almost lost you into another portal, which is what I'm thinking happened to that... We threw a white chair in here, didn't we? Ah, there it is. Way over here. I lobbed it, apparently. All right, let's go. How was your stream? Because many VTubers were drawn on the stream. Very fun. Hi, Potate. How are you doing? Potate. Potate, potat. Yoink. Where's the other things I threw? Oh no, did I throw them through the wrong fucking door? starting to think I did. Oh, let's go up here real quick. I need to figure out where that yellow astronaut goes. I don't think I lobbed you that hard, but okay. Bull. I'm gonna take the bull with me. Ah, there's more things. I see you. Yowie. I missed this room back here, and the pot is here, as well as a feather. Excuse me. Give me that. Give me that feather. Please and thank you. Rin? Rin is the person who rigged my model. Hurlet. Wasn't there a yellow chair I like threw in here? Where did it go? Did I not throw the yellow chair in here? Did I throw it through the wrong portal? Oh god, I did, didn't I? Oh well, we'll find it somewhere, I'm sure. You, come here.
Back on the wall.
Alright, let's go check this way. That's a landscape. That's a spine. And a dream catcher. Not a spine, that's a tail. Silksong's beating my ass. Yeah, that sounds like every experience with Silksong I've heard so far.
Make sure nothing is where it should be. Nothing!
Oh, interesting. Okay. So... That's Mickelson's face? Is that you? Okay, at least that went through. Oh, good lord. Okay. We haven't figured out where these giant double frames go yet. So, you are also not in the right place. Gobi. Ah, fuck. Get up. You are also a fucking exhibit piece. I'm glad I noticed you. Jesus, I would have missed you otherwise. Okay, you teleported through. That's good. So we have the elephant, we have the horse. I'm like 90% sure we do. So let's go grab one of those. Yoink. Elephant. Here. Elephant. Haunts. We need the haunts. Horse. There you are. Even flow. Again. Oh, okay. You're a double frame. Alright. You don't belong here. Oh, good lord. Okay, this is gonna take a lot. And there's no portal to this room? Can't open you. Oh my god. Oh, the doors are closed. Fuck. All right, buddy, let's go. All right, we're gonna have to find an easier way to Why can't I run? Come on, sprint, damn you. All right. Here. Throw you over here, bud. Let's go. Actually, hold on. What is through here? What the fuck do you mean sewage exhibit? This, oh, okay, I see. This used to be, oh, fuck, dude. It's a fucking jumping puzzle. Can't do this to me. Oh, fuck. All right, fine, whatever. This better open. Oh, thank God. Okay, does this... I don't think Caesar's head go... Oh, wait, what is that? Oh, those are the eggs. Skulls, white. Give me that. Even flow. Oh, fuck.
This thing running.
Oh, God, why didn't you jump? Okay, well, at least it doesn't seem like the sewage hurts me. I was kind of scared that I was going to find out that there was like a death mechanic. Oh, it's because there's a pipe above me. That's why I'm not jumping. There we go. You. Yabby. Get this shit off here. Okay, I'm glad that didn't break. There's 5 more in here. I bet those TVs are another fucking puzzle. I am like 90% sure of it. Oh, there's a ladder here. Oh, a painting, of course. Actually, this one would go up here. That's actually a little bit easier. Wait a second. Oh, that's all the double frames. Okay, okay, okay. Go over here. Go in here. You are landscape. Where is that room? Not you, not you. I think it was you. Nice. Okay. Oh, white table. White room. Right, yeah. There it is. Bear's distracted, getting fired at the car. What? No! Hina! I'm sorry. Yeah, I definitely do need to set an alarm for that. Alright, we're gonna take this. Through, where's the upper section? Upper section? Upper section? That's the sewage section. Upper section. And then it goes here. Oh, whoops. There we go. Hold on. I'm also pretty sure where is that other room? This one. This was where we threw a whole bunch of stuff. Okay. I'm getting so turned around. Okay, this was... Yoink. Top. Did we get ground from the iPad? Do we have a commercial break again? Oh my God, we fucking did. I didn't even realize it had already been an hour. I am so fucking sorry, guys. I am very distracted. There's like so many items and I know I'm gonna forget shit. Okay, was this a double frame? This is a double frame. Okay. Ugh. I knew this one was gonna take forever and a half. Okay, let's do... Where was the one that we were just... This one. Let's go ahead and open this. You definitely don't belong there. Okay, so that's where the busts and statues and stuff go. You go right over here. Table. Actually, let's do this real quick. Oh, good lord. Chair. Oh. Chair. I'm fine with this one being dirty for now. Of course, I should have known. I should have known that I was only going to be able to pick up like one shard. Bone, you can actually go in here. I see you. Right. White chair, come on, you're with me. All the weird shapes. All right, we're gonna go put this stuff in the white room. Gobi. Gobi. Damn, I'm really lobbing these. All right, let's clean this chair real quick. Up. We still haven't found the globe. I just realized that. Okay. And then we have these two chairs. One goes there. Oh, we're still missing one white chair. Shit. Oh, son of a bitch. All right, that'll do. She'll congratulate the bound. Go to bed, Hina. Thank you so much for the raid. All right. Where did we just come from? Was it the? You're the music room. Okay. And so, where was that one room? It's not this one. It's you. Okay. Statue goes in there. Ring goes in there. Nefertiti goes in there. I don't know if the masks go in there. Also, give me that. You. Which one was it? It was this one, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay, I wasn't sure if that one actually got teleported. Hands, I am 90% sure it goes in there. You, I know for sure, goes in there. You. Alright, let's do this. Organization time. Alright, Nefertiti, where are you at? Come here.
Now the Pharaoh's curse won't reach me.
That is another abstract. We're just gonna come put you in here for now. Hands go there. You go there.
You belong.
The bull does go here. Okay. You go there. Hands go here. Where's the weird loop? There it is. This pan sounds familiar. How familiar? Okay, there's where the ring goes. Right there. Okay. You here? Thinker. All right, let's go get the bowl. Actually, I'm gonna pick this up real quick. Ooh, that's the double pane. Or the double, Fine, I'll throw you through. You didn't teleport. Why didn't you teleport? Are you literally too big to teleport? No, there we go. Okay, let's go put you upstairs real quick. Excuse me. Pardon me. Because I'm pretty sure this is the last one we actually need for this section. Well, at least for these double-paned windows. Also, open door, please. Hello. You go around here somewhere. I'm 99% sure. Oh. Uh-oh. Woo. Okay. Some before. Ooh, I don't know the name of the band off the top of my head. I am terrible at band names, please and thank you. Neat. Alright, I'm gonna take this finger real quick. Did you teleport? Did you slide across? Okay, no, he teleported. Okay. Alright, there's also the last yellow chair we need. Alright, let's do some cleaning. There's been far more just like picking up items and taking them away. You are again part of the landscape, so you need to go in here. Okay, let's go to put you back in the yellow room. Wait. Through here. Excuse me. Still don't know where this astronaut goes. And we're still looking for, like, a gaming chair? I guess? Alright. You. Oh, hold on. Okay, where's that entrance hall that we went into? I kind of want to organize all the stuff we have right now. It's you. Oh, whoops. Is that bad? I almost want to put together all the items we have right now. Like, let's go do the fucking dinosaur. What is the fastest way there? We'll just do this. Oh, okay. I got confused. For a second. Tail. Tail? There we go. Oh god, there's a painting here. Alright. This is actually probably the quickest portal. Top. Top. Am I blind? I don't think I'm blind. There you are. God damn it. You, come here. Get in the box. And then you. No, wait, you don't have a frame. We'll wait and see. That's fine. Back up here so we can do this painting. Pretty painting. Alright. Oh god, we're still missing 4 of them. Oh! I hate it. Okay, so the easiest one for us to deliver this one. We're gonna put all the dinosaur ones through here because all the fossils and fish and stuff. There's apparently 3 eggs too, and that's literally only one of the eggs. And you are the bull. You actually belong here. Yoink. Oh, darn it. Okay. Okay, let's do this. Triceratops. Of... right here. Shell. Well, technically Almanites. I see the fish. So let's grab our... actually, fuck it. Egg. Eggy. You are over here. Wink. Leg. Wink.
Time comes.
Ugh.
Spare me.
Why do you do this to me? Okay. God, the rattling of the bones makes them sound kind of sort of plastic. Also, I saw you. There you are. You go here. Okay. Fish bones. Fish bones. Over there. What are you? Oh, I know where you go. You've got to go in here with Nefertiti, don't you? Just down here next to it. Thank God I noticed you. Barracuda. Okay, you're in the right spot. What are you? Ah, Caesar. Come here, Caesar. Alright. Leaf. Yes. Oh, good lord, there's another raid. Welcome in, raiders. I'm sorry, I'm so distracted. Leaf. And the other one that looks like a... Welcome in, raiders, though. How was your stream? Did you have a good time? What trouble did you get into? What shenanigans were you up to? Thank you for the hardtack. It was necessary. It was necessary, wasn't it? All right. Let's go ahead and throw this table through. Go in there. You didn't teleport. Why didn't you teleport? Why aren't you teleporting? Fuck me running, I guess. All right, you go there. Give me this painting in the back. First, please. Excuse me. And this needs to go... This actually needs to go upstairs, which is... Which portal are you? It's you. Okay. Stream was fun. Was trying to do out schedule one. Ooh, did you have a good time? Is there anything new? I haven't played in a long time. I miss playing schedule one. It was goofy. It was fun. All right, table. Again, I know you go somewhere else. I just don't know where yet. So I'm just gonna take you with me. Come on, let's go. Dinosaur head. We do need you. That's a Brontosaurus head. Where was that? Through here. Dinosaur. Dinosaur right here. Also, you. Also, son of a bitch is a symbol here. Alright, let's go in here. Through here. Where's that music room? Here it is. Alright, you can stay here. Oh, alright, come on. Get in there. Okay, this room seems fairly easy. Oh, thank God. You come here. Hey, look, there's a seahorse. I would have missed that bitch. All right. Get in there. And then... Not you, not you, not you. Also not you. In there. Ugh. EPs? Joan Jett is so cool. I love Joan Jett. I like classic. I like my classic rock, okay? I like my classic rock. All right, let's go. Yeah, you definitely go over here. We threw the seahorse through, didn't we? Oh, maybe it's in the middle. Ah, there you are. And then you go way over here. Ah. Come here. Yoink. Yoink. Okay. Yoink. Yeah, actually, yeah, we'll go through here. Ah, I see where you go. Also, you're holding a fucking guitar. How did I not notice him holding a guitar? Oh. You. That didn't work. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay, there we go. Oh, and the lion's in there. All right. Oh, if I get jump scared, there's mannequins around the corner. All right, pick these boys up. Come here. Crackle frag. Is there anything behind the door? Oh, that's the globe. Get over here. Wait. Okay, I thought it was something else. I thought it was... Oh, pop the balloon. That's fine. Wait, 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 wait. There you are. Spin all... Oh, you're singing. Okay, gotcha. It was just in the music section. Hold on. I want to figure out where these masks go. I'm pretty sure they go... here, but I can't prove it yet. Oh, I guess maybe it's in a room that we just haven't gone into yet. I'm gonna guess they probably go in like the cafe or something. Although, something is here that doesn't belong. What is it though? Is there something hiding? I'm missing something. Is it? Darn, I was kind of half expecting it to be like inside the back of this face. Is it between the crevices? This is going to be the worst one to try to get 100% on. I know it is. Just looking to see if it's on the light or something. The lion? Is there anything behind it? No? Is it you? Oh no, you do belong here. I can't pick you up. 1, 2, 3, 4. It does say I'm missing like 10 things, but is it counting somewhere else maybe? I think maybe it is counting somewhere else. Oh yeah, it definitely is. It's counting this whole section. Meowing. Ah, egg. Eggy. Oh. Okay, we'll get that painting in a second. Wink. You paint. Go through here. Go through here. Landscape room. Best scribes to clear the town. I'll be fine. What do you mean? Yeah, this is the room. And then here.
Now you can go back to being admired.
Oh, we're still missing like 2 at least. All right, so let's get this guitar. And then we'll work on putting the drum set together. God, whatever. Here, take the lion. Oh, I'm stuck. Lion, lion, lion. Where did the lion go? Upstairs. Okay. Yoink. You go all the way back here. Okay. Okay. All right, let's check down here. I'm leaving the flashlight on right now because it's frankly, it's absolutely fucking useful. Oh. All right, hold on. Oh my God, there's so much shit in here. All right. Drum, drum. Oh, hey, hands. Don't mind if I do. All right, hold on. We got to do some portal shit. This is, yeah, that's definitely where the masks go. Okay, I was checking to see if any of those counted as. All right, let's put the mask in here. Oh no, because we're gonna walk through it and we're gonna have to go all the way around. Oh, there's the symbol too. I just hit it. All right, hold on. Let's take. Oh, it's the gaming chair. Stand up. All right, we're going to put you away. See how easy I get distracted? White room. White room. Behind me. Let's see, shit. Okay. Go back. You are gonna go through here. Yeah, you also belong in here. Weirdly enough, I think that's not the right room. Where is music? There it is. All right, slide on around. I think that chair actually goes in this office. Weirdly enough. But we will see. Oh. Okay. All right, let's go, buddy. Oh, I'm right. Nice. Is this something I actually want to be happy that I'm right about? Yeah, I suppose it is. Oh my goodness. Buddy, you're not allowed to get blood in the office. It's bad. It's bad praxis. Bad work ethics. All right. Oh, the white chair. That's the last white chair we need, I think. I'm pretty sure. And then there was the skull. Oh. Okay. Aw. Wait. I don't think those count for anything. Oh, this painting. I don't think this one belongs here. Hold on a second. Nice. Still haven't found that goat. Okay, this is counting us as music exhibit. Oh my god, another raid? Sai, welcome in. How was your stream? Wait, didn't you start after me? What time is it? Oh, it's 3:30. Well, not 3:30. No, it is 3:30. Because I started at noon. Welcome in, Raiders. How was your stream? Did you have a good time? What trouble did you get into? What shenanigans did you get up to? Hold on. Wasn't there... I think it was back this way. It was... somewhere. I do need this symbol, though. Yeah, rotate. Rotate. All right, let's go get the other one. Oh, wait, wasn't... oh, there it is. Ah, there's the other one, too. Perfect. Right nearby. How was your stream? Because Deadass just yapping today? Oh, that makes sense. No, I was dumb and decided that this entire week is going to be games. We're playing games this week, chat. We're playing games this week. I want to finish this game, and I want to finish Resident Evil 1 this week. Because we're also going to be taking a swing into Banishers on Thursday. Thursday, I'm pretty sure, is the day that we were doing. Are you forklift certified? No, I'm not forklift certified. I'm scuba diving certified. So if you ever want to know more about that. Okay. Oh, apparently there's something here still. Oh, there's a painting back here. Excuse me. All right, let's go put you back where you belong. It's actually really nice. I don't think we had many raids last week, so like it's really nice to have so many just today. I'm really glad I didn't cancel stream right now. I'm actually really glad I didn't cancel it because one of the family members is sick and they're still here. Okay, hold on. Okay, so we're still missing something. Okay, I can't take you down. Can I? Oh, I can flick, y'all. Yeah, let me in. Oh, it won't let me. I gotta do the annoying... Oh. Oh. Motherfucker. I'm pretty sure there's nothing up there. I just wanted to close these because they were open by default. Bands with an E? I have the training to operate a 122 howitzer and 155 cannon. What? Away from the rare scuba forklift combo? Listen, if they someday if they make a like forklift that works underwater, that would be fucking crazy. Yeah, usually there's a secret room up there, but I don't think it exists in this game because there's no like code or anything. Pretty sure. Where can we vibe? Because I'm stinky. Go ungamer yourself. Go ungamer yourself. Oh, it's the chair. That's the one thing I think we're missing. Yeah, it's the chair that goes right here. So, yeah, let's go get that chair. Also, you, get up. Chair.
Relaxed, not knowing someone is about to stab him. Peaceful death. To some extent.
Okay, gotta maneuver you all the way around. Through here. Chair. Okay. Yeah, they counted this one as music. All right, let's take you. Where is... right there. Go in there. You are landscape, which means you need to go... here. All right. Nice. We're finishing areas. White chair. White area. Right here. And then where is... there it is. Let me up. Let me up, damn it. Oh my god. Oh, son of a bitch. Turn this light off. I'm getting fucking... my eyes are burning. But it's so useful to spot... oh, ugh. Oh my god. I'm like sliding off of the things. Whew. Okay. I still don't know what to do with this. We're just gonna take it into the middle area with us then. Hang out here, little man. Alright, so we need... okay, we threw a bunch of stuff through here, didn't... oh, there we go. Okay. You... go here. Take this arm. We're still missing an egg somewhere. Mastodon. Missing a shell. We still haven't done the cafe, so I imagine we're gonna find like the rest of the stuff at the cafe. Yeah, apparently we're missing 5 items here total. Oh, what is that? Damn it. Get back here. I have an idea. That'll do. So smart. Clap for me, chat. Egg. Oh, the dino egg? Yeah. Alright, through here. Through here. And then you go right there. Okay, we're still missing the weird ring jumble. Back through the sewer. Okay, there's still 2 misplaced things in here. But where? Oh, there it is. And there's the other body and the egg. Okay. Show. It's the same puzzle. Oh. 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 Ah, son of a bitch. Okay, let's see real quick. Is that all green? Oh, yeah, it looks like that's all green. Okay. Let me through. Let me through.
What is that even for?
Oh.
Easy peasy.
Okay. You can come here. You can come here. Then, alright, let's do this. Listen, if I get jump scared again, like mannequins start coming out of these things again, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna McFucking lose it. Egg, 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 egg. Okay. Let's go, boss. Go in there. Go in there. And then we can just, oh shit. Put the guy in the basket. Finish that. You come here. You go in there. You come with me. Put you there. Here. There we go. Eggy. Favorite suspected gay? Suspected! How could you? How could you? Alright, so we're missing that shell, and we're missing one of your bones. No? That shell. Okay, this room is done. This room is not done. Missing whatever this statue is, and another thing. What is the other thing? Oh, it's up there. It's the goat. That's right. Okay. So I think it's gonna be cafe time. Oh, actually, hold on. Let's do this. Because we have not, like, we've barely done any cleaning, it feels like. It's been mostly, like, fucking reorganizing. I'm gonna leave it right there just so that we don't end up absolutely fucking chucking it. Okay, I guess we are done here. This is Forrest Gump. I'm not sure what this is. This is Lord of the Rings. Lion King. I don't know about this one. We also haven't opened this door yet. Up. Oh, I double clicked it. Damn it. See it lighting up. I just can't hit the E fast enough. Try this. Jumping puzzle. Jumping puzzle. Hi, Sai. How are you doing? Can I get a shout out for Sai? Oh, I missed. Totally whiffed. School of Rock? Oh, could be. Could be. Oh, I slid right off. Son of a bitch. I feel like these are relevant. I feel like one of these has to have like something in it. Oh well. Alright. Cafeteria time. Oh, there's the shell. Speak of the devil. And then... through here. Okay. Yum. Alright, let's do some cleanup. There wasn't nearly as much like blood and gore as there was in the original story. Okay, you definitely go upstairs. Honestly, the stairs were right next to me. I could have just run up there, but didn't cross my mind until I was already through the portal. Oh, shit. Come here. All right. Clean this up. That was the only blood in this room? Okay. All right, hold on. Let's get rid of this then. Ah, there's the goat. Yoink. Know exactly where this goes.
There you go.
And then we're still missing one more painting. Goes right there. It says there's two misplaced in here. Ah, the statue. The Cupid. Okay. And then there's the last painting. That's fine. We'll get that painting in a second. Through here. Back here. Turn. Boop. We still haven't found the secret, though. Which is weird. Wrong room. There we go. I still don't think that was everything, though, was it? Okay, we got everything here. Everything here. Negative speed effects? True. Okay. So we're missing something. Chat, maybe Whiplash? The song Whiplash? Oh, the movie Whiplash. Ooh, you may be right. That's actually that's a very good guess. Good movie, by the way. Y'all haven't seen Whiplash? Not only is the song in the movie called Whiplash, you're gonna have whiplash watching that movie. Emotional whiplash. All right, hold on. We're gonna look this up real quick. Because I think it may be that locked door. Wait a second. Wait a second. I want the cassette. Well, the Onyx disc. Where do I get the Onyx disc? Okay. If this is a being I have to put the puzzles exactly where they belong, I'm gonna be upset. Or like all of the pictures, they have to be like perfectly aligned. I'm gonna be upset about it. I'm gonna be upset about it. Wait. Oh, you're fucking joking. What? Oh, we totally missed it. Chat. Chat. Someone overlaid Tank from Cowboy Bebop and Whiplash scenes. Oh. Welcome to the back rooms, kids. Pool time, anyone? Listen, as long as there's not like a snake or something, I'm not going to be upset. Okay, there's got to be a way to through this, right? Ah, exit signs. Duck. Stairs. Oh no, the tile duck. Am I gonna find out that there's gonna be like the door on the... Oh no, it's just the red... Wait. Okay. Okay, we're good. I'm upset! Alright, now I just want to double check all the rooms so that they're done, because I want that 100%. Done. Done. Completed. Okay, this is still counting as upper passage. Done. This is a terrifying maze. It's totally fine. It's not even that scary. It's not like it's the actual back rooms where it's fucking... Oh, okay, that was the coat rack. I thought that was the symbol for a second. Done through here. I think we're good. Yeah. Perfect. Fingers crossed. Yeah! Let's go. All right. No money, no matter how perfect. Oh, well. Got the black hole, though. Got the coolest fucking skin in the game. Now, instead of a trash can, I carry around a microtized black hole. Gimme. Where is it? Trash can. Hell yeah. All right. But, chat, we've hit the 4-hour mark. You know what that means. Unfortunately, for today, it's where we need to end. This is where we need to end. Fish, get your last second fishes in. Don't forget, if you're the highest person on the fishing board, you get VIP at the end of the month, which is the same as having a, what is it? A tier 2 and tier 3 sub. Oh, that's myself. That's the video player of myself that wasn't loading. All right, I already know who we're going to raid. We're going to raid Tibby. Tibby has at least another hour in her birthday stream. I think you'll like the model that she's using, chat. I'm sure you'll really like the model. All right. Oh, we're still on. There we go. Yeah, today is Tibby's birthday. She's been doing a 24-hour stream. She's about to hit the 3-hour mark, or 23-hour mark. Sorry, I forgot a whole 20 there. 23-hour mark. And let's just try to make the last hour a good time. She looks like she's watching Daily Dose of Internet. She's vibing out the last little bit for Daily Dose of Internet. Tibby, yeah. She's a 3D model artist. She made Hanedu's model. But, do I have like a... Oh, we'll do this. We'll do the knife emotes. Happy birthday. Ignore the blood. Ignore the blood. ... It's not ours. All right. I will see you guys tomorrow, noon CDT. We're going to be here. I believe we're doing Resident Evil 1. We're back to Resident Evil 1 because I'm going to try and finish it tomorrow. That is the plan. But until then, guys, thank you for being here. Thank you for being awesome. And thank you for enjoying the show. Good night. Eat something delicious for me. I have no money for delicious food. I don't have Silk Song, you fucking dingus.